One of the goofiest speedruns I have ever covered was last year in a video titled Meme Speedruns. It's a Minecraft speedrun where the goal is to obtain a diamond as fast as possible. The specific category is set C glitchless with structures enabled. Basically, if you type walrus, walrus, walrus in the seed bar and generate the world, you'll spawn inside a house with a chest immediately to your left. Inside is a diamond, and the challenge is to see how fast you can flick your mouse, open the chest, and instantly click it. The world record is a whopping 250 milliseconds, and this requires near perfect accuracy to achieve. Now, upon doing some research, there are 3 other versions of this speedrun. Basically all combinations of RSG and SSG with or without structures. Out of the 4 possible versions, Random C Glitchless No Structures is by far the nuttiest speedrun. Basically, you start a new world and have to go out and explore for diamonds. It's extremely luck dependent and reset heavy. Just based off the first frame of a new world, a runner can determine if it's a seed worth running, and some of them will cycle through dozens of them per hour. The earliest diamond speedruns are dated nearly 9 years ago, making it one of the oldest Minecraft speedruns. It would slowly be optimized not just because of luck, but because of some new strategies that would be introduced throughout the years. Throughout this video, I'll be comparing new world records to the previous one on screen, just like I did in the history of Mr. Krabs overdoses on ketamine video. I'll be comparing overall movement, menuing, and the seeds as a whole. If you enjoy the speedrunning content, feel free to subscribe. Let's get started, and I hope you all enjoy. I limited my research to purely speedrun.com since the times on there have all been verified. If on the off chance a record was posted on YouTube but never got submitted to speedrun.com, I apologize in advance because it won't be shown in this video. When I went back through the dates in which runs were submitted and verified, I compiled a total of 8 world records, and we're going to start off with Ant Venom with his time of 2 minutes and 6.5 seconds. This video was posted on his channel on November 14th, 2013, but the run was actually performed on August 19th, 2012. In his video, he talked about challenging himself to obtain a diamond in 2 minutes, and he set a few restrictions for his run, which were that he cannot obtain anything from chests that would aid him in the run, and that everything he obtained had to be from the blocks around him. This is basically the definition of no structures. He obtained wood right away and found a cave about 19 seconds in. The earliest route for this speedrun was to punch wood to make a wooden pickaxe, mine 3 cobblestone, make a stone pickaxe, mine 8 cobblestone to make a furnace, mine coal and iron and smelt them to make an iron pickaxe, and then either dig down and get lucky, or get even luckier by finding a cave that has exposed diamonds. After 1 minute and 19 seconds, he crafted an iron pickaxe and descended further, running into a creeper that could have quite possibly killed the run. There was also a skeleton near the bottom of the cave, but because Ant Venom is so alpha, he just whacked it with his pickaxe. Crafting torches for better lighting is a waste of time, so the final challenge can sometimes be to spot diamonds in almost complete darkness. He eventually found them and completed the run. 2 minutes and 6.5 seconds would go on to be the official record. It wouldn't be until over 2 years later when a new competitor would enter the scene. On October 25th, 2014, Finsane uploaded a new world record, 2 minutes and 0.92 seconds. I originally had a description of the run typed out while the video was public, but it was recently set to private, so I have no way of showing it. The first thing that was interesting about this run was the use of F5, which toggles perspective between first person, third person from the back, and third person from the front. Since Minecraft speedruns start on first movement input, the use of F5 can highly benefit a player since they can see nearby surroundings before blindlessly traveling around. It's kind of like speed cubing. All sides of a Rubik's Cube can be looked at before solving it. The second thing that was interesting was the use of 2 furnaces instead of 1. Since smelting 3 iron ingots takes 30 seconds, the use of 2 furnaces can save roughly 10 seconds. The almost sub 2 minute record would go uncontested for about 7 months until Ben Clark hit the scene on May 4th, 2015. This was also the first time diamonds were obtained on a random seed in less than 2 minutes. Immediately to the right is a tree and a cave, so right off the bat, this could be a promising seed. In this meta, if both these conditions aren't met upon seeing the first frame in a new world, it's literally a reset. Since these runs are less than 2 minutes long, you want to be in a cave sooner than later. Ben has a nice drop down in the beginning with a nice cluster of iron nearby. They don't do the strat where you make 2 furnaces to smelt iron, but I noticed they tried something a little more interesting, which if it worked, could cut down these runs by a lot. Right before having enough iron to craft an iron pickaxe, you use your stone pickaxe to basically dig down and get lucky, or even make a tunnel. On the off chance that diamonds are there, these runs could be completed in less than 1.5 minutes easily. Since there's downtime and waiting for the iron to smelt, it doesn't negatively affect the run's time to do this strat. Unfortunately, nothing was there, so it's back to getting deep in the cave. They made an iron pickaxe at just 1 minute and 34 seconds in, only 1 second behind Finsane's pace, and they actually opted to dig down where they previously dug with the stone pickaxe. So this is quite literally the first time we would see the dig down and get lucky strat. Ben dug down in another part of the cave, and after descending further, the most prized possession was right in front of them. At just 1 minute and 54.31 seconds, Ben Clark would hold the new world record. Now instead of this new world record going uncontested for months or even years, Ben Clark would actually break their own time just 20 days later. Right off the bat, they use F5 to toggle between first and third person, since the seed was somewhat weird. There were a ton of birch trees in the area, so it was hard to tell if there were any caves nearby. However, there was one birch tree above some stone, which also had iron, which also would lead into a cave. Toggling perspective with F5 was now a cemented strat. By not doing it, you would waste a large amount of time just blindlessly running around. Ben made a stone pickaxe at roughly the same time as their previous run, so both runs were almost in sync with each other. After getting the resources needed for an iron pickaxe, Ben opted to just jump right into the cave before smelting the iron. To be honest, it never really mattered when exactly a runner made an iron pickaxe, it's just an easy way to compare the paces of two runners. It is efficient though in the long term of running this category, since you'll be resetting a lot if you don't find diamonds after waiting for your iron to smelt, wasting 30 seconds if you use one furnace, or 20 seconds if you use two. Anyways, Ben exited the small cave into a ravine, and right in front of them was a single diamond. So now this is where sweat starts to drip. They need to wait for 3 pieces of iron to smelt, and then make an iron pickaxe all within 50 seconds. Honestly, this is doable. It only takes 30 seconds for 3 pieces to smelt, so I'm just exaggerating on the sweating part. But they also needed to hope that no mobs would kill them, so maybe the sweat is there after all. At 1 minute and 40.77 seconds, Ben Clark would break their own record by 14 seconds, just a little over 10 seconds from the first ever sub 1 minute and 30 second run. Now the category would run dormant again for about 14 months. But on July 19, 2016, Elrich MC would improve Ben Clark's time by about 7 seconds. This was the first ever speedrun that incorporated an entirely new strat. This strat would eliminate the process of making an iron pickaxe from scratch. This is the find diamond and have a creeper blow it up strat. So the run started out by running through the plains biome just to find a cave or ravine. At about 38 seconds in, they found a water stream which ran down to a ravine, so this was the perfect location to make the jump. They turn around and spot some diamonds on the wall. So step 1 is complete, but now they need a creeper. They switch perspective and spot one hiding in the crease of a wall above them. So they dig the dirt around the obsidian and lava and build up to try and get aggro of the creeper. It drops down, and all Elrich had to do was lure it to the diamonds. What's weird about this run is that for the first few times Elrich got the hissing sound from the creeper, it went back to its regular state, despite him being right next to it. Had Elrich gotten the creeper to explode the first time, this would have been the first ever sub 1 minute and 30 second run. Despite the lost time from the creeper's aggro, Elrich clutched out a 1 minute and 33.19 second time. This would become the new meta for future diamond speedruns, and with better spawn and creeper luck, these times would become a lot faster. 11 months later, Mysterio289 absolutely crushed Elrich's speedrun. They completely skipped past the 1 minute and 30 second barrier and the 1 minute barrier. On June 1st, 2017, they submitted their time of 34.87 seconds. They spawned right next to a hole in the ground, so this is already one of the best spawns a runner can get. While it's not perfect, which you'll see later on, their creeper luck was spot on. They descend through this entire cave only to reach a dead end at lava. They turn to the northwest, and there's a lonely creeper standing right next to a diamond. Now since they don't have any blocks, they either A, need to find some dirt in this cave to bridge over to the creeper, or B, see if they can go around to the other side of this wall to reach the creeper. They immediately backtrack and found another creeper. On reaction, they immediately knocked it back into more diamonds. That's right, there were 2 separate spawns of diamonds which both had creepers nearby. Mysterio stated, "The RNG gods have blessed me, though I spent 3 straight hours doing this today and countless hours on other days." It became apparent that the speedrun would require more and more hours on average to get a decent time, as compared to when this run was only 2 minutes long. This run saved almost a full minute over the previous world record, and it would go uncontested for longer than any other world record thus far. Mysterio's record would stay at the top for the rest of 2017, 2018, and 2019. In the first week of the new decade, Hess would dethrone Mysterio on January 4th, 2020. We got the speedrun in the middle of the screen, but then we got some Minecraft memes on both sides, probably added in post-editing. Also, their audio track is a video by Carl Jobst,
who has been cursed and turned into the brigand leader.
A person of class, I see. Anyways, they immediately dropped down into a cave and ran past some mobs, including a creeper. No diamonds were present though, so they would have to descend further. They found a water stream to jump onto and headed in the direction of where the water stopped flowing. There was a fork in the cave, and immediately to the right was a diamond right beneath a creeper and skeleton. Creeper exploded, and Hess beat the world record by almost 14 seconds, with the time of 20.683 seconds. Out of curiosity, I actually talked to Hess through Twitter, and they stated that a total of 13.5 hours was spent cycling through seeds to get this world record. To prove the record's legitimacy, Hess uploaded all 13.5 hours of raw footage to prove that the run was not spliced in any way. These runs were becoming ridiculously fast, to the point where moderators would have to carefully inspect if they were cheated or not. Sure enough, a cheated run made its way onto the leaderboards. 15 days later, A593025 submitted their time of 17.267 seconds, which was about a 2.5 second time save over Hess's run. When I started my research for this video, it was on the leaderboards. It wasn't until a week after my research when I saw it was removed. I messaged one of the leaderboard moderators about it, and there were a few reasons why the run was disqualified. Let's see if you, the viewer, can spot what's wrong. Okay, so first and foremost, when they spawn into the world, it seems like no inputs are pressed, other than F5 to toggle perspective. In this frame, there are two things that are wrong. Their shadow is not aligned on the center of the block, and their body is facing to the right when it should be facing forward. If you load up a world on your own, you can see the difference. It's likely that this person moved around in the world, possibly to spawn a creeper and then did /TP or even /kill. Then they did the run and spliced it into the footage. On top of that, their movement is extremely suspicious. Unlike every speedrun I have shown, this one appears rehearsed. It seems like they knew exactly where to go. The way they rode down the water stream and the specific angles they took to reach the bottom doesn't seem natural at all. Also, once they reached the bottom, they ran past the creeper and stopped directly on top of the diamond and waited for the creeper to come over. There was absolutely no hesitation to lure it over. Now, this could all be circumstantial, but why is their shadow not aligned on the center of the block, and why is their body faced to the right? These are telltale signs that basically point to splicing. So this run was disqualified, and Hess would reclaim the first place spot on the leaderboards. Surprisingly, Hess's world record would only last a little over 1 year. Darufu would claim the throne with their time of 15.84 seconds on January 24th, 2021. Unfortunately, they didn't get the best spot to instantly jump into a cave. They had to do a little bit of running at the start, but they got the absolute best ravine entrance by far. They were able to instantly jump to the bottom of a water stream with diamonds right next to it. However, there was no creeper in sight. It seemed like the run was over, but then the familiar hiss was heard. A creeper seemingly came out of nowhere, and Darufu would beat Hess's time by almost 5 seconds. Now of course, a fast run like this could come off suspicious, but it was validated by the moderators. Darufu also got the obtained diamond speedrun on Setseed Glitchless with no structures just 1 hour prior to this one, now holding 2 out of the 4 speedrun records. If you can't take the moderator's word for this run being legitimate, hopefully Darufu's explanation in the comments section clarifies everything. It's crazy to think that this Minecraft speedrun was still being optimized throughout the years, from the original strats of how diamonds were meant to be obtained, to just simply getting a creeper to blow up a node. If Darufu had just slightly better luck in the beginning, I could definitely see the speedrun breaking the sub 10-second barrier, and if it ever does, that will be epic. I'd like to thank Blue Crystal for helping me with this video, and if you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like. I would also like to thank the supporters over on Patreon. The link will be in the description if you would like to support the channel even further. More speedrunning related content is to come, so subscribe to the channel if you're new. That's it from me today. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.